Paul, when you did the description of EcoShare, you mentioned the fact around rider safety. Now you've got that covered. Can you just explain what's the challenge around driver safety and what the solution is that you've got?
Yeah, the solution is called Driverchex. What happened is about 10 years ago, I came up with a concept called taxi checks, which morphed into cab checks. The technology that I needed at the time wasn't there. Obviously now we have the blockchain, and people didn't want to engage because it would have cost too much money. Driver checks will be our gift to the world. It might sound very dramatic, but passenger safety is no laughing matter. Passenger safety should always be taken above profit, and that doesn't happen at the moment. You see a lot of instances with big name companies where they've done things such as put in contracts that you can't say anything against the company if something happens in their cars, and they come to legal agreements for you to be paid out for something that's happened. That's not acceptable. At the moment, there is no system in the world. If you were a driver in France and you did something untoward, and you then moved to say England, nobody would know. Nobody would know that you'd not been allowed to be a taxi driver in France, and therefore you could continue on in the UK. That's not acceptable. Anyone who wants to use the EcoShare system, the whole ecosystem, has to have their driver identity put on the blockchain, in a block on the blockchain. Yeah. What that will do is, obviously, we know it's cryptographically secure. The driver has control of that, but every time they want to access a job from the ecosystem, they must then still be a valid driver as per the authorities or anything else. If the local authorities or the national authorities say, in France, for example, that driver is not fit to drive a taxi, they couldn't then move to the UK and work on the ecosystem because their blockchain identity moves with them. We recognise that this is something that other blockchain taxi apps and ecosystems that are being developed haven't acknowledged or haven't thought of. We are going to give this to the world. Like I said, we're perfectly happy for anyone else to use this system, because at the end of the day, like I say, passenger safety should always be put above profit. So it will be there'll be an API, a plugin, so that if other companies want to ensure the safety of their passengers, they can use this system free of charge, minus a little bit of gas money. But apart from that, it will improve passenger safety massively across the world.